So Austin, you mentioned depletion earlier. Tell me, how does the depletion allowance work in oil and gas properties, and how is it calculated?
Sure. So depletion is a pretty complex calculation. I think that there's two different types of depletion. There's both cost depletion and statutory depletion, or you'll hear percentage depletion is what it's called.
Okay.
Let's talk. I guess percentage depletion is probably the easiest to understand. Typically, it's going to be 15% of your gross income.
Pretty simple.
So pretty straightforward. You do have a few limitations on your net income for percentage depletion. So if you have a net loss, you're not allowed to take percentage depletion. If you have really 65% of the total net income of your company or the investments, you're going to be capped at that. So that's getting a little bit in the weeds. So I think that the main benefit of statutory depletion that a lot of people don't know about is that you can actually take depletion in excess of your basis. So that's a fun accounting term we like to use, basis. Where we've got basically the total cost of whatever you invest into something. So that would be how much that you put into the venture. That's going to be the basis. And typically, if you were to buy a depreciable asset or something like that, you're going to be able to depreciate that asset down to zero. Well, percentage depletion works that whatever you invest into the project, you get to take depletion on the revenue, not only to zero, but actually beyond. So you get that 15% as long as you have that investment. Cost depletion is a little bit more complex of a calculation where you're going to be basically calculating the leasehold costs that you have and compare the reserves year over year and kind of go through a little bit of a formulaic calculation in order to determine kind of the total cost of the asset, and then the year over year, basically the kind of the economic depletion that is being removed from that asset, basically the reserves that are being depleted. So that's the main difference between those two. Another thing to keep in mind between those two, if you are choosing to kind of calculate both, the IRS allows you to deduct the higher of the two of those. So you don't get to take both, you get to take the higher of those two. So
one or the other.
I would say typically for people that have kind of passive investments, royalties, you're going to have a more of a focus on percentage depletion, just because it's a little bit easier to calculate. Also, really other types of investors that are kind of in a passive role, percentage depletion is kind of the one that we see most typically.
Makes sense.